todas las personas obviamente participando y compartiendo, asegurando que todos pueden recibir la misma información. I just want to make sure that everybody can receive the same information. All right, as I was stating, and I also want to make sure that if there are any questions, I can answer them. Ok, Geraldo Pichón, gracias por unirse porque te quiero responder a tu pregunta y también te quiero expresar mi agradecimiento porque como un residente responsable, tú tienes una pregunta legítima y yo te la quiero responder y lo quiero hacer con la misma cortesía y respeto que tú me demostraste y te lo agradezco porque a veces cuando alguien comparte sus frustraciones, no hacen preguntas, nada más dicen que están enojados, pero tú verdaderamente me tocaste. O más tu preocupación me llegó y yo te lo quiero responder. Disculpa, estoy un poquito, o estoy recuperando recién de un tos. So again, I wanted to share some information to discuss specifically issues in the community regarding parking and enforcement of parking. Again, as I've mentioned, when individuals express their concerns, criticisms, or questions, but do so in a genuine, sincere manner, even when they're frustrated, I want to respond, especially when they're legitimate concerns. Now, I'll reiterate, I said it before, that can be subjective. What's legitimate to one may not be legitimate to all, but every now and then I try to filter what's being shared, and when it's a legitimate question, I want to address it. So I want to thank Geraldo Pichon, who submitted a question about overnight enforcement and early morning enforcement of parking, and I want to talk about parking in the city of Passaic. So thank you all for joining. I'm going to try to answer questions later, but please let me make the presentations first, and then I'll get to some questions. Even though Erickson put, hay lugares, si no hay parqueo, dura una hora buscando parqueo, y cuando me levanto a trabajar, hay este ticket, porque hay tiqueo que están a las 3 dando ticket. Erickson, eso es lo que voy a responder. Dame la antes que haga la pregunta. Ya, ese va a ser el tema. Yo te prometo, yo sé, ustedes conocen su alcalde, que a veces yo toco 10,000 temas en un video. Hoy yo voy a tratar de concentrarme solamente en este tema. Estacionamiento y las multas que están dando. Pero déjame hacer la presentación del estacionamiento primero. All right, I got it. Eric, you shared, why are people giving tickets out? I know your mayor, and you're thinking, Mayor, you have a propensity to go off on different topics and address 1,000 things in one video. Today, I'm looking to focus, hyper-focus, and stay on topic regarding parking and enforcement of parking. I'll try. If somebody brings up something interesting, I might address it, but at least for the most part, I'll stay on the parking. So give me an opportunity to address the concerns first, give a presentation on parking, and then we'll get to questions. But let me just see. Alex, thank you for joining. Mayor, we have a serious problem on Lincoln Street and Paulson Ave. I became a longtime Passaic. Since 1995, we get tickets every day. Alex, I don't want you to get tickets every day. Let me do the presentation. Guys, I'm going to get to it in a minute. Hector, Lora, ¿qué está pasando que a las 12 y la 1 de la mañana andan poniendo tickets? Flores, eso es lo que voy a responder. Dame un segundito. I'm going to get to it. Okay, buenas tardes. All right, Carlita, gracias. Okay, tenemos todos. Everybody's with us. We're going to talk about parking. Let me talk a little bit about Passaic. The city of Passaic. We just celebrated our 150th anniversary. Incorporated in, I believe it was April 2nd, 1873. 150 years. We're 3.2 square miles. We're one of the most densely populated cities in the United States of America, with, according to our 2020 census, 70,000 residents. There are a lot of cars in the city of Passaic, considering our size. We're densely populated. We have a lot of vehicles. Even more vehicles, as obviously things have changed over the years. I've shared it before. With $99 down, zero credit, you can drive a car off the lot. That's how some dealers advertise it. Back in the day, only one person would have one car per family. Now you can find 5 cars per family. There are a lot of cars on the roads. We understand that. There has not necessarily been an increase in the population of people, but definitely an increase in the volume of vehicles that are in the city and traveling around in the city. So that's a fair concern and criticism. There are a lot of cars in the city. vamos a hablar un poco de la historia de Passaic. La ciudad de Passaic, incorporada en el 1873, abril, segundo o tercer de abril, yo creo que fue el segundo de abril, recién celebramos nuestro 150 aniversario. Somos una ciudad de 3.2 millas cuadrada, no millas millas cuadradas, square miles. 3.2 millas cuadradas con acuerdo al censo de 2020, es más de 70,000 residentes en la ciudad de Passaic. So, tenemos mucha gente en el pueblo. Pero verdaderamente lo que ha ocurrido en los años recién es que hay más carros, el volumen de carros ha engrandecido. Tenemos muchos carros en la carretera. Había un tiempo, décadas atrás, donde había un carro por familia. Ahora hay como 5 carros por cada apartamento, porque ahora con $99 y sin crédito tú puedes comprar tu carro y manejar. Y hay muchos que tienen acceso a carros hoy en día. Eso es legítimo, es una crítica que yo entiendo, donde algunos dicen, alcalde, hay muchos carros en la ciudad. Quiero hablar del problema. Give me a little bit. Ariel, yes, I know you're gonna have some interesting things to say, Ariel. It wouldn't be alive without your interesting feedback, but give me a little bit. This city is becoming more, okay, Buck. I'm staying on topic, so let's focus on this. All right, let's go to some quick questions. Yo pienso que es que hay muchas personas de otras ciudades que vienen a Passaic. Tengo un primo en Union City que la ciudad, para que los que viva tengan más parqueo, los que no son de las ciudades, no poner. Yo voy a hablar de permisos de parqueo. Dame un segundito. On 6 and 6, you're holding. I got it, Ariel. I got it. I'm going to get to it. I got that. Let me just get to the parking. All right. So meses vivimos en Passaic y nos ponen tickets cada semana allá por las 5, allí mismo. All right, Herbert, I'm going to address all that. Just give me a little bit, because you're bombarding me with questions, and I don't want to ignore anybody. Just give me 5 minutes to get to the presentation. I'm going to get to questions. Try to read a few, and then I'm going to get right to it. Buck, where they give you tickets for no park. All right, Buck, if we're not going to be productive, Buck, I don't know. I can't respond to you. All right. You should come by Liberty Street in Passaic, garbage, clothes, refrigerator. I'm staying on topic. Parking. We'll address that on another Facebook Live. Rent is also high. Jocelyn, there was rent stabilization, but I'm not talking about that. We're staying on topic. Parking. Jocelyn, look, stay with me. Parking. We're talking about parking. Parking and tickets. Parking and tickets. All right. You ready? We're about to go. María, buenas tardes, medio, pero no solo Passaic da ticket de noche. Todas las ciudades dan ticket. Todas las ciudades. I'm going to answer. Voy a responder. Okay. Can you add a siren for street cleaning? Janet, that's a good idea. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Let me just get to this. We have cars, but we have a lot of new buildings. That's why we have a lot of cars. Luz, I'm trying to stay on topic. It's kind of related, but we have a community that says we don't have any apartments. We need more apartments. And then we get more apartments and people go, we have too many people. Apartments come with people. People come with cars. If we want more apartments, if we need to raise our housing stock, it's going to come with cars. Hay algunos que dicen, alcalde, tenemos muchos edificios, pero también hay gente que dice, necesitamos más apartamentos. Bueno, más apartamentos vienen con más personas vienen con más carros. Es un balance, pero... Okay, let me do the presentation. I'm about to do the presentation. You ready? Let's talk about parking. First of all, as mayor, I can specifically point to over 700 new parking spaces that I have been able to push forward as your mayor and receive support with the administration. De que yo he sido alcalde, yo he podido asegurar más de 700 nuevos parqueos en la ciudad. Eso es histórico, con el apoyo de mis colegas, y lo voy a demostrar. I'm going to show you. Más de 700, more than 700. Now, I'm not just going to talk. I'm going to prove it to you. Obviously, you all know about the parking deck. You've seen it. This isn't promises made, and then hopefully you see it. You're driving here every day. Right on State Street and Passaic Street, you see the parking. Esto es el estacionamiento que yo prometí para el público. Eso es para el público. Geraldo, tú dijiste de que eso solamente iba a beneficiar a City Hall. Eso no es el caso, Geraldo. Eso es para el público. Obviamente, los que trabajan en City Hall son parte del público. Si van a trabajar aquí, van a estacionar también. Pero esos son 300 parqueos. Hasta si parquean ahí, eso abre estacionamiento en la calle. Y de noche, eso va a ser para la comunidad. Porque obviamente nosotros no trabajamos aquí de noche. Bueno, yo trabajo de noche, ustedes me conocen. Yo trabajo a cualquier hora. Pero eso es público, para el público. All right, you see it, the parking garage, the parking deck. That's not promises made, and hopefully it gets done. You see it every day. It's getting bigger and bigger every day. That is tangible, and that is for the public. For the public. Now, Geraldo said, oh, that's for the benefit of City Hall. Well, yeah, employees of City Hall are part of the public. They're going to come in the morning, they're going to park there, but that just frees up space around the city for you to park. And overnight, that's going to be for residents. That's going to help out Aspen Place, Main Avenue shoppers. That's going to help out the businesses. That's one. Ahí hay uno de los programas que he podido implementar. Eso va a ayudar para estacionamiento para la Main Avenue, para los comerciantes. Eso va a ayudar para los residentes de Aspen Place. Okay, that's one parking. Bear with me, Herbert. Quédate conmigo. Is that paid parking or free? Parker, let's talk about parking. But you want to talk about payment. You have to charge. If you don't, people will leave their car for weeks. It's so you can have turnover of vehicles. If you didn't have meters on Main Avenue, people would park their car there and leave it for 2 weeks. You have to have meters to ensure that spaces get free. But overnight, just like meters, you don't charge after 6 p.m., overnight it will be available. But in the morning, if you don't ensure to regulate parking, then there's never going to be any open spaces. You need turnover in parking so people can use it, go shopping, and then leave, not drop off their car, get on the bus, and go to New York and come back at the end of the day. We need to regulate parking, right? So yes, there will be a paid aspect to a parking deck, and also taxpayer funded, but this I got from a grant. I am looking to generate revenue to make more parking decks. Remember, I have a dream project, the parking deck on Parker Avenue. Parker Avenue. Be familiar with that word, Parker. It's your name. Parker Avenue. I want another parking deck to help the people. Sí, si se va a cobrar de parqueo en este nuevo edificio aquí, claro, porque después los carros no se mueven. Es como cuando estamos hablando de la Main Avenue, los metros, los parqueómetros, si uno no lo tiene, alguien va a dejar su carro ahí 2 o 3 días sin moverlo. Eso ayuda para abrir esos espacios para que alguien parquea o se estacione, pague y después se mueve su carro. Si van a hacer compras, si van a ir a Main Avenue, si van a trabajar, para que no dejen su carro ahí para días. So I wanted to answer that. All right, let's talk about that. That's 300 spaces. Gregory Avenue. One of the initiatives that I pushed forward, and this is a unique idea that I implemented in the city, maybe not completely unique. It's not like it's never existed, but when I kept driving around, I kept wondering, we have these wide roads. Why not go to angled parking? Because angled parking, the amount of space in terms of the width is usually about 5 feet. So you might be able to double and triple the opportunity for parking around the city when you do this. I've done this on Gregory Avenue, on Broadway, different areas in the city. Angled parking brings more parking to the city. Yo he podido cambiar algunos estacionamientos o parqueo a ángulo, porque en tema del espacio es 5 pies. When you're talking about the parallel parking, or rather the linear parking, those can be up to 15 feet. So you, in certain cases, you triple the amount of parking spaces. Tú puedes tener el triple del parqueo cuando tú vas a ángulo, el doble hasta el triple. Yo lo he hecho en la Gregory Avenue, en la Main Avenue, ustedes lo pueden ver. So I wanted to show you those parking spaces. I want to go to River Drive parking lot. River Drive parking lot. Si pueden ver aquí en el River Drive, donde está el River Drive y la Paulson, River Drive and Paulson, en el lado, bueno, aquí, es el nuevo estacionamiento. En este lado puede ver cómo era grama. You can see how it was grass, the Jack Tatum way. And then on this side, brand new parking. So that's 31 new spaces, public spaces, espacios público. Para ti, para mí, para todos. Público. All right, next one. First Street and Jefferson Street. La calle primera en la Jefferson. Puede ver antes lo que era, donde había camiones, donde no había espacio para estacionamiento, y pude desarrollar 30 nuevos espacios. 30 new spaces, Jefferson Street. Benson Avenue, or rather Brook Ave and Main Ave. Benson in front of the Animal Hospital. You can see this used to be all grass. That was the before. Now it's all parking. Take my word for it on the before. It was just all grass. But now it is all parking, 40 new spaces, 49 espacios. All right, Christopher Columbus Park, Parque de la Once, Christopher Columbus. En un lado tú puedes ver todo grama y después ahora 49 nuevos espacios, o 43. Before it was grass, 43 new spaces. All right, we're going to try to run through this because I want to get to the enforcement. Pulaski Park, 3rd Street. You can see it was trees and grass and dirt, unused space. I drove by and said, I want to make that into new public parking. I also united both of the lots, created more handicap space, had it paved. I had it all striped. And now we have not only 55 new spaces, but over 100 spaces with both of the lots combined. So that's even more parking. Next, Myrtle Avenue, 8 new spaces. Obviously, I know you're going to say, Mayor, that's for the police at the substation, but they're not on the street. So technically, that frees up space on the street. I know it's iffy. I'll go back to Broadway. There was a lot more in the angled parking. I didn't add that, but it's there. En el Myrtle Avenue, 8 nuevos espacios donde solamente había grama que no se utilizaba y ahora es estacionamiento. Yo sé lo que tú dices, alcalde, pero eso es para la policía. Sí, pero no están en la calle. So, eso abre espacio en la calle. Pero, ok, yo sé que es un poco... All right, estacionamiento adicional. Gregory Avenue, 29 spaces. La Jefferson y La Colombia, 24 espacios, 24. River Drive and Paulison, 31 spaces. Myrtle Avenue, 5 spaces. Paulison Avenue, 16 spaces. Benson, 50 spaces. William Street, 13 new spaces with angled parking en la William Street, aquí mismito por el ayuntamiento. First Street and Jefferson, 30 spaces. Ridge Avenue, 31 spaces. Pulaski Park, 55 spaces. Pulaski Park, 4th and 3rd Street, 35 spaces. Gregory Avenue, 22 spaces. That's over 700 on just those alone, even though Myrtle's really 8, and in that list it said 5. To be consistent, it's about 8 spaces now. Here's what I wanted to talk to you about. Obviously, parking is necessary. As I look at the screen here in front of me with the 700 spaces, and that makes, or rather begs the question, 70,000 residents, Mayor, 700 spaces. I understand. But in urban communities, it's not common to come up with new parking spaces. You can build up. There's not a lot to build out. It's a unique and innovative approach to identify unused space and turn it into parking. I mean, it's a demonstration of a willingness by your mayor and by my team to find more parking. We get it. It's not easy, but we're trying. Le comparto estos espacios y yo sé que algunos dicen, alcalde, 700 espacios en estos 2 o 3 años, gran cosa. Pero eso no es común a tener una ciudad urbana donde se desarrolla nuevo estacionamiento. Uno puede construir para arriba, pero no para afuera. Hay poco espacio y eso demuestra un deseo a trabajar. Como su alcalde, yo no estoy sentado haciendo nada, yo estoy afuera identificando oportunidades. Claro que yo quisiera mucho más. Yo quisiera 10,000 nuevos parqueos. Pero ¿a dónde lo vamos a buscar? Mi gente, dígame, ¿a dónde? Yo no puedo deconstruir casas, tumbar edificios y hacer estacionamiento. Yo tengo que encontrar cosas nuevas. Y cuando yo salgo, yo busco. Y usted no lo ha visto. Hay mucho parqueo. Pero voy a seguir buscando. Tengo un nuevo deseo, hacer 400 nuevos parqueos en la Parker Avenue, ahí al lado de la escuela 10, donde tenemos el edificio grande de la academia. Guys, my next major project is the Parker Avenue parking deck. It's about $15 million, 400 new parking spaces. It's definitely a dream project, but that's what I want to create because I think it would be special. I'm going to show you just a demonstration. It's going to come right in front of camera right now. Check it out, guys. Right in front of the camera. You can see it right there. That right there. You see, assistant? That's the best part of this live where you can't see my face. Here, let me get it. Thank you, Renee. Renee's bringing it up. All right, check it out. This is my dream project. Este es mi proyecto del sueño. Este proyecto. 400 nuevo estacionamiento o 400 new parking spaces on Parker Avenue. Yo hice la presentación. Yo estoy luchando para esto. I'm fighting for this. That will bring us over 1,000 new parking spaces. That's the work that I've been trying to do in our city. I wanted to preface the conversation of parking tickets and enforcement with us so you know that there is a genuine effort and desire to address your concerns and your needs. This has been my approach for years. This isn't something new. When I became mayor, I promised you more parking, and I've delivered. But I understand. You want more. I wish we could have 10,000 more spaces. We're getting there, little by little. Not to the 10,000, but to the thousands. So bear with us. Yo sé que quieren más otra vez. Yo quisiera 10,000 nuevos estacionamientos. No es posible. Pero poco a poco estamos llegando a los 1,000 y quizá un poco más. Tengan paciencia, que yo estoy trabajando y voy a seguir trabajando por ustedes. All right, with that said, let's talk about enforcement. All right, yes, I hired new parking enforcement overnight. But I didn't make this decision in a silo. It wasn't an arbitrary decision. This came as a result of an outcry from the community that there was a lot of illegal parking, commercial vehicles overnight, individuals impeding visibility. When someone parks at a stop sign, when someone parks on a corner, they obstruct visibility on turns, and this resulted in more accidents. This is problematic. So after doing traffic studies, I said I'm going to hire overnight parking enforcement. Also, many of you asked for parking permits. I've been pushing, fighting. It's been tough. I've gotten approval for parking permits in certain sections of the city. Some of you, once we got the parking permits, got tickets and said, Mayor, why did you put parking permits? I'm going, you're the same person who asked for parking permits. You know who you are. But yes, we hired overnight parking enforcement. Police go around and give out tickets in certain areas. Now, Geraldo, you shared a video, and I will address your specific video, and then I'll answer questions. And then I'm going to bring in some professional responses regarding tickets. Ok, vamos a hablar de las multas. Es legítimo las multas, hay multas. Pero le quiero decir que esa decisión yo no la tomé arbitrariamente. Yo contraté a personas a dar multas en la noche porque muchos en la comunidad había un llamado diciendo hay mucha gente estacionado ilegal, hay vehículos comercial que están estacionados sobre la noche. Alcalde, ponga los tickets. Ok, la policía tiene que responder al crimen. Yo contraté a personas que anden en la ciudad para limpiar las calles de los carros comerciantes que no deben estar ahí y personas que están estacionados delante de los stop signs en la esquina porque estaban obstruyendo la visibilidad o no se podía ver cuando uno va a doblar y eso causa accidentes. Nosotros hicimos los estudios de tráfico y contraté personas que están andando en la calle de noche, en la tarde y de noche. Ellos no están dando tickets pequeñitos, pero sí, si alguien está violando la ley, está estacionado en una manera que puede causar un daño, ellos están haciendo su trabajo. Nosotros somos un gobierno, tenemos una responsabilidad. Yo entiendo. Mira, yo he recibido multa. Yo sé que es frustrante. Uno llega de su trabajo, no encuentra estacionamiento, parquea su carro, se despierta en la mañana y tiene un ticket. Se estaciona delante de una pompa, en una esquina y dice, alcalde, ¿por qué el ticket? A principio nosotros dimos warnings, pero la gente siguieron estacionando ilegal. Ellos tienen que hacer su trabajo. La policía cuando llega en un lugar, si ellos ven algo, ellos lo tienen que arreglar. All right, with that said, I understand. Look, the police have to respond to crimes. We have patrol enforcement officers. There was an outcry in the community. Now they're out there working and they're giving the tickets. I know it's frustrating. I've received tickets. And I get it. You come home late. Maybe you're working the second shift. You come home at 11 or 12. You park your car because you couldn't find any space in front of a fire hydrant, a crosswalk, in front of a stop sign. You wake up with a ticket. I get it. I'm talking to the officers. But also consider that if you're obstructing visibility on a turn, you're parked illegally and an accident occurs, and the city isn't enforcing, it could be liable. We have a responsibility. So I wanted to address that. Now let me look at some of your questions, and then I'm going to bring in an additional insight. So give me a second. Take your time. I hope I answered, gave you a presentation. There's more parking initiatives. I just don't want to go 2 hours on parking. I got a lot of parking initiatives. I'm working hard on parking. All right, let's see. Buck, we had read your question, but I'm going to see if you have additional. City of Passaic, where they give you tickets for no parking at all. Mechanics using cars that they are fixing and putting them on the street, and we lose parking. All right, Buck, you're contradicting yourself, Buck. You're saying that the police are giving tickets for no reason. I passed a new law, fought for it. I addressed the mechanics. Mechanics can't leave their cars out on the street to work on them. If they're using the street as storage for their cars, the mechanics will get fined, not the car itself, because a registered car with plates and everything that's up to date, you can't give it a ticket for being on the street. But the mechanics, we've been going after them, Buck. But who does that? The parking enforcement agents, the police. We're going after them. We're doing the work, Buck. Just because you don't always see it doesn't mean it's not being done. It's being done. I have the law passed. You can look up the law. Okay, dijeron que los mecánicos ponen los carros en la calle y nadie está haciendo nada. No, eso no es verdad. Yo pasé una ley que los mecánicos no pueden poner los carros en la calle como storage. Es que si hay un carro que tiene su registración y su placa bien, le van a dar las multas al mecánico. Pero es una ley. Hay una contradicción ahí. Si tú quieres que le den ticket a otro, pero después te dan ticket a ti por hacer algo mal, tú no te puedes quejar, porque la policía van ahí. Si ellos ven que todos están haciendo algo malo, le van a dar ticket a todos que están haciendo algo malo. But all right, let me go. Nelson, we talked about Liberty Street. Let me see. Floating Mile. More people come to the bars here, and I get stuck looking for parking for hours. Floating Mile, you're right. Look, it's tough. We want our small businesses to prosper and to succeed. We invite people to come shop in Passaic and come and receive some entertainment. Recreation is important. Nightlife. That's the life of the city. We want you to come and dine and maybe get wined. Depends if you have a romantic partner. If not, wine yourself. I don't know. Wine and dine yourself. But we want you to enjoy living in the city. We want to be a vibrant city. We want business to grow. We want employees to have opportunities to work. We want business owners to do well. But that attracts people, and they're going to park in the city. Now, we try to work it out and try to get them parking or ask businesses to let them park. We don't have control over all of that. Some lots make themselves available and others don't. I get your concern. We'll try to address by creating more parking. We've been pushing for more businesses to provide parking. It isn't perfect. There are more vehicles on the road. We're trying. All right, bear with me. Don't be too angry at my answers. I'm just going to be real and tell you the truth. All right, dame un segundito. Quiero responder a todas las preguntas. I want to respond to all the questions. Okay, Passaic Street by the new taqueria. They have some cars that don't move never. Ada, good question. Let's address that. Ada, if somebody parks their car and they don't move it for 48 hours, it can be towed. Call the police, 973-365-3900. They come, they mark the tire, and then they come and check it in 2 days. If it hasn't moved, they tow it. Si hay carros que no se están moviendo, llama a la policía, 973-365-3900. Cada vez que yo digo los números, como ese abogado en la televisión, ¿tú te recuerdas el comercial? 777-7777. 973-365-3900. Llama a la policía. Ellos vienen y lo marcan. Y si el carro no se mueve en 48 horas, se lo lleva a la grúa. So that's the address of that. Mister, an ordinance against the mechanics illegally parking will definitely help. I did 12. I put it, Mr. Graham. I call you Mr. Graham. I know him since we were little kids, so we got a familiarity. Anyway, you're right, but I did pass our ordinance, and we're enforcing it. And they do get their tickets for storing their cars out on the street. All right, on Lexington President, there's people parking at the crosswalk, and it's also blocking the view to exit the driveway. Bellin, that's what we're talking about. We give the tickets. Some people get happy. Whoever gets the ticket gets upset. We can't block the crosswalks. You can't block crosswalks. And if there's a crosswalk with a stop sign, that's even worse. I'll get to that. No pueden bloquear las líneas de cruzar, y si estacionan alante de una línea de cruzar, donde hay un stop sign, es peor, y por eso quedan tickets. Ale, en mi calle amanecen hasta 40 tickets. Ale. 40 tickets. Es que todo el mundo está parqueado en la esquina. Ale, 40 tickets. Todo el mundo está parqueado en la acera. Ale, mira, yo no estoy diciendo que no es verdad, pero Ale, si tú quieres ser un punto, tú no tienes que decirme que hay 40 tickets en un blog. Eso es como la persona que dice, alcalde, 100 tickets dieron en esta esquina. Yo digo, en esa esquina no caben 3 carros, Ale. Pero está bien, yo hablo con la policía. Ya yo estoy hablando con la policía. Ale said there's 40 tickets given in my block. I don't know if it's a day, but I'm like, Alex, come on. I understand hyperbole. I'm a fan of it sometimes. But if you're going, my block has 40 tickets and your block don't fit more than 20 cars, Ale, I get it, you're making the point, but come on. However, I will discuss it with the police. I'm going to discuss it with the police. All right, guys, I'm trying to get to your questions. We're going to stick to parking. I'm going to try. If I miss some of your questions, forgive me. I'm trying to get to everything. But there are more drivers on the road. You understand that, and I'm trying to address it. Okay, yes, you can't block fire hydrants. La pompas no la bloqueen. You're going to get a ticket. And firefighters are going to start giving out tickets. Where we are giving them the authority to go out and give tickets if you park in front of fire hydrants, or if you double park and block a lane and a fire truck can't get through, they're going to give tickets. But that's safety. That's a safety issue. Si está bloqueando la pompa, sí te van a dar ticket. Hasta los bomberos pueden dar tickets si tú estás bloqueando la pompa de los bomberos, o si está bloqueando la calle y no puede pasar un camión de bomberos. All right, Buck, let's get back to you. Buck, you make me nervous. I don't know if I can read yours out loud, but I'll see. I agree. Downtown Passaic is mind-blowing. Even if they have parking, a lot of public parking, there's still no space because mechanics want to take the space without... Buck, I'm with you. Now we agree. We're on the same page. Buck, if this was the page, this hand would be me, this hand would be you. We're on the same page, Buck, you and me, like this. Look, Buck, we're united. We're on the same page, Buck. I'm going after the mechanics, Buck. Just have patience. I'm one mayor. I'm working with my team. We're going to get to them. It's a lot of mechanics. The law's passed. Now the enforcement comes. Con los mecánicos, sí, Buck tiene razón. Nosotros vamos a enforzar eso y los mecánicos no van a poder seguir dejando sus carros en la calle. All right, Ann, resident parking passes. I'm sure that would... Ann, I tried it. Ann, you hit a nerve, Ann. And we're going to get your full name because you hit a nerve. I wish I had one of those buttons. And I let you know that you hit the nerve. You know, I remember playing doctor, the one where you would hit the side and be like, you hit a nerve. And all right, Anne Marie Lyons, is that Misco? Anne Marie Lyons Misco, you hit a nerve. I tried the parking permits. I made the call to the community. I said, come out. You guys didn't come out. I don't have a problem pushing for what you want. But if you go out there and say, I got 1,000 people with me on this, and you turn around and there's 2 people, the people you're trying to convince are going to say, you got 2 people with you. I need you to unite if you really want it. Look, if you want an initiative in Passaic, I'm your guy. I'll fight for it. But you can't have me go to that fight alone. If that's really what you want, you got to come with me, and I need the community united. United, we get things done. Come out, show your support, come to the meeting, or show up on election day so I can say, you see these 10,000 people? These people are serious and they're united. We got to get this initiative. Now, I don't always talk this direct, and I don't want to get off on a tangent. Like I said, I wouldn't. But you know what? This is a real Friday, so let's be real. Let's be candid. All right? You know how my name is Hector Carlos Lora. We'll go with Candid Carlos minute. Let's split for a little bit and we'll do some Candid Carlos conversation right there. 3 C's. Candid Carlos conversation. Listen. You want big things? Come out big time. You unite, show the numbers, I'll fight for whatever you want. I'll fight for whatever you want anyway, but if you want it to get done, I need super support from you, and then we can get some super things done. That's real. That's the truth. Nobody gets things done on their own. You want some big transformative stuff? Then start dismissing all this division and come out together. I fought for you. You can see it. You've looked around the city. You've seen the change. It's tangible. I don't talk about it. You see the work. I'm putting in my part. Sometimes really late at night. I need you to come out. Come out for me if you want these fights to be successful. I'll bring it up again, but I need you with me. This isn't one of those battles, you go to war for something, you need an army. Nobody goes to war by themselves. You want me to go to war for big things? Suit up. Suit up, stand with me, and let's hold the line. If not, then we'll be discussing this for time after time after time. That rhymed. You know I'm upset when I start rhyming. All right, let's get back to some of the questions here. Ella estaba hablando de permisos de parqueo y le estaba compartiendo que yo lo hago, pero necesito su apoyo. Mira, si uno va a guerra, necesita un ejército. Ustedes quieren que yo vaya a guerra para cambiar otras leyes y hacer iniciativas transformativas. No me pueden dejar solo. Ustedes me han visto luchando, trabajando. Ustedes han visto el cambio en la comunidad. Pero si ustedes no salen, mira, yo voy a hablar real. Es un viernes para hablar la cosa real. Si ustedes no salen y no demuestran la unidad y el apoyo, nada más se parece que yo estoy hablando de un apoyo de la comunidad, un respaldo que no está ahí. Yo necesito que salgan unidos para reuniones cuando lo tenemos, para llamados de la comunidad y para los votos. Salgan unidos. Dejan de ser divididos para que ellos vean que hay fuerza. Para cuando yo empuje en el condado, en el estado local, yo diga, mira, mi pueblo está conmigo. Pero si ustedes se quedan en la casa cuando vienen las elecciones y después salen después de la elección y dicen, alcalde, cambia esto, tú tienes que entender cuál es la percepción que yo le digo a mis colegas y a otros oficiales en el condado y el estado. Oye, yo necesito eso, que mi gente son serios y están conmigo. Y ellos miran atrás y dicen, pero ¿qué gente tú estás hablando? ¿Y a dónde están? Yo sé que eso es muy real, pero estoy hablando sincero, necesito su apoyo. Si verdaderamente quieren esa transformación, salgan a apoyar y dejan de dividir para que unidos logremos más. Ok, vamos para atrás al tema, que después me van a acusar. Alcalde, te fuiste del tema. Estaba un poco conectado del tema. We were a little on topic. It was just a little... All right, resident parking. And I spoke about it. You hit a nerve. I responded. All right, Eugene, traffic division should check the plates on cars regularly. Many have fake plates, invalid plates. We have LPRs. LPRs. LPR. That's pretty good. I came up with that. That's not sign language. LPR, license plate readers. Ladies and gentlemen, we got them all over the city. Some you can see, some you can't see. Because we got covert operations going on in the city. Dun, dun, dun. We catch people doing bad things. But yes, we have LPRs, and some of the police have them on the vehicles. They catch the plates, they give out tickets. Sometimes people get tickets and they go, Mayor, look, here's my registration. It says that it's good to 2026. And I'm like, that paper doesn't update when it got suspended when you didn't pay your tickets. The computer said your registration is suspended or that your license plate is fake. So you get the tickets and you get told, it's happening, I got it. We're addressing it. Ok, nosotros tenemos los aparatos que leen las licencias para saber si el carro tiene registración, está suspendido la registración o si no son válidos. Eso está ocurriendo en la ciudad también. All right, Traffic Division, I've read that one. Thank you, Eugene. Yopis, alcalde, en la 4 hay una iglesia que tiene parqueo y ni se usa ni la iglesia ni el parqueo. Está enfrente de la Pulaski y la School. Yopis, esa casa, esa es la iglesia, yo creo que la vendieron. Voy a verificar. Yo creo que esa es la iglesia que la vendieron y ellos van a desarrollar. Yo no puedo forzar a alguien, dueño de propiedad, hasta si es una iglesia activa, que le dé los parqueos. Mira, hay una iglesia en la Main Ave, no la voy a nombrar, que le ofrecieron el estacionamiento al público y la gente dejaron botellas de cerveza y otras cosas feas. Digo, cosas que utilizan cuando la gente se enamoran y no van a la casa para hacer lo que tienen que hacer. Lo dejaban ahí en el piso, cosas horribles. Y eso frustró a la iglesia, porque imagínate un domingo, vienen la gente a la parroquia, vienen a la iglesia y ahí en el parqueo hay botellas de cerveza, hay parafernalia de drogas y ellos dijeron no más con el público. A veces los dueños de propiedades públicas dicen no podemos ofrecer porque si algo pasa lo van a demandar nosotros. So, si es tierra pública yo la puedo dirigir, pero no se puede forzar a la otra organización a hacerlo. All right, in regards to the church, I think the church was sold, the one by Pulaski Park. I think I know which one you're talking about, by 4th Street. That's a private development. But I will say this, I can't force private owners to give their parking lots, whether it's a funeral home or a grocery or a church. I do know that some churches have tried to work with the community. I'll give you an example. I won't name the church, but there was one, I may not have in Passaic, that gave its lot for public use, and in the morning they were finding beer bottles, paraphernalia, certain other items that wouldn't be appropriate to mention while kids are watching. I know kids are a little more advanced, but I'm a little old-fashioned. Let's just say things that sometimes you find when a couple might want to get a little more than romantic and didn't go home and they leave the things there. Now imagine you're going to church in the morning and you find these things in the parking lot. Church was like, we're not giving the lot to the public. So sometimes there are extenuating circumstances that result in a private entity going, we're not giving our lots. In an ideal world, I agree with you. All the lots should be used. Everyone who has a lot when it's not used should be open to the public. We don't live in an ideal world. Not everyone's responsible. We'll try to make more deals, public-private partnerships to provide more parking, just because I like saying things with a whole lot of P's. But it's also pragmatic and for the people, and it's progressive, and may even bring a little bit more prosperity to the private owner, benefit the public in the city of Passaic for the people. All right, that's enough of that. I'm trying to be a little bit funny, but I get the point. The point. You want more parking. We're trying to work it out. All right, let's get to more questions, and then I have a special guest. Let's see. Aida, or is that? Ida. Always check if they move the cars, because people don't move the cars only for street cleaning, go by 6th Street. Technically, Ada, if they move it, they're good. You just can't leave it abandoned for more than 48 hours. If you see one that's abandoned, but if you have a registered vehicle with valid license plate and it moves for alternate side of the street, they're allowed to do this, unless we do parking permits. And to do that, I already told you what we need. You got to come out. You come out strong, I'll put that forward again, but I've been putting it forward since I was a councilman. I've been pushing for that. I don't have the full support because the community wants it, but then when we fight for it, you don't show up. It's not your fault. I'm just trying to be real. If you want it, you got to come out. Either come out to the meeting or come out on election day, because that empowers me to say, look, that's 10,000 people standing with me. And you don't want those 10,000 people upset. I can't have you stay home when we're ready to make the fight. We have 30,000 registered voters. If 30,000 people came out in an election, I'm going to tell you this, I'll get you whatever you want. As long as the people agree, of course. But you come out with all 30,000 votes, I'm like, hey, you don't want to get these people upset. That's 30,000 people. But if you're staying home, it makes it hard for me to make a compelling argument. Right. Let me get to the questions. How about South Street? Ariel, South Street, we're working on the parking. Listen, there's a particular business that I've already sent a letter that if they don't do what they're supposed to, we're going to take the lot and we're going to open it up for public parking. Right on South Street. I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to work that out. You'll see. So stay with me. I'm going to announce that soon. Sí, vamos a buscar parqueo on South Street, Ariel. All right, Anne Marie, I do, although, appreciate the effort in creating extra parking. So I'm talking about, Anne. I appreciate the encouragement. Sometimes it feels like it's all criticism. All right, Joab Brody. On Quincy Street and Lexington Ave, there are 2 mechanic shops whose owners live in Patterson and have 6 and 7 parked vehicles for months, and no one says anything. And we have gotten tired of calling the police and even writing to you about the situation. All right, Joab, listen, when'd you write to me? I know that's not the point. I know you say, Mayor, that's the part you read. No, I get it. No, they live in Patterson. They can live in Patterson. There's nothing wrong with Patterson. I love Patterson. I love the people in Patterson. That's the 3rd largest city in the state of New Jersey. God bless Patterson. They also start with the P. But you've reached out to me. You got to show me. Because people tell me, Mayor, I write to you all the time. And then when I call them personally, I say, give me a number. I say, when'd you write to me? Technically, I just wrote to you today. Joe, if this is the first time you're telling me this, that's not fair. You can't just post up. I've been writing you all this time, and it's the first time I've read it. In regards to cars that are being abandoned, I promise you that the police have heard your concern as of right now. Give me a few minutes, and I'll prove it to you. All right, let me see. You should put meters down Passaic Street. I did. We expanded the meters down Passaic Street. Go past State Street. You'll see we added more meters. I mean, I can go all the way downtown, but you're going to get a lot of people upset in the daytime. I'll do a study. You want meters? I got you. I'll put the meters. But you better come out and fight with me when people start yelling. You don't have to. You're not the mayor. I got thick skin. I'll take the criticism. I'll look into it for you. All right? Voy a chequear los meters para la Passaic. What about by School 1 and School 15? Luis, where? By School 1. Tell me. Look, you have the Salvation Army. I wish I had the money to buy the Salvation Army and take the parking lot and say, here's parking by School 1. right? Which is, academy. Now, here's the problem with it. I could use city money, and then taxes go up, and it will be a one-time fix because they're going to get me out of here. You know it. You know it's true. I can't use tax money to start buying property and create parking. I want to create that $15 million parking deck on Park Ave. I'm trying everything. I've reached out to everyone. Listen, there's a lot of people running for governor. All you great candidates. All you wonderful governor candidates. If you're looking for an enthusiastic endorsement from a particular mayor in one of the most densely populated cities in the state of New Jersey, perhaps talk to me about funding the parking deck downtown. Because if you can fund my parking deck, that is reason enough for me to consider endorsing. However, if that is not compelling, then let me address anyone running for Congress or Senate or potentially president. If you're interested in an endorsement, I'm willing to talk about my endorsement if you're willing to give something to Passaic, because I don't need anything for me, but I do want something for Passaic. This message, though perhaps not directly approved by the City of Passaic, is Hector Lora approved. That's it. I need a parking deck. If you give me a parking deck, in case you didn't get it. If that was too subtle, if you give me a parking deck, I'll endorse you. I just want my parking deck for the City of Passaic. All right, let's go to the next. Where on Parker? Oh, right in front of the church. Right in front of the church, like by Sherman, by Quincy. There's 2 lots right before the school, right before number 10 school. One lot belongs to the city, one lot belongs to the Archdiocese. I want to unite both the lots and create 410 spaces. This is it, right here. This is what I want to create. Right there by Parker Avenue. So I need your support on that. All right, let me see if I can get through the last of these, and I'm going to bring my special guest. Do something about all of the out-of-town school vans parked in our neighborhoods. Gio, during the daytime, they could park here. At nighttime, I have addressed it. They all came and protested, remember? Because I was addressing it so much. I was giving them tickets, told them they couldn't park. They kept protesting. I have addressed it. Los vehículos comerciantes, nosotros sí le dimos multas. Vinieron, protestaron, trabajamos con ellos, buscamos solución. Sí, estamos trabajando con eso. All right. Minor Garcia. Minor. I'm glad your name wasn't A. Minor, because there's been some issues. The Super Bowl. He should let that go. I don't want to get off on another topic, but you won. Somebody tell Kendrick he won already. He should let that go. All right, Mr. Minor. The worst part is that the police will ticket cars of people that work hard every day for that money, for them to just write up tickets. Minor Garcia, the police, they don't know whether you work or not. Like, when they look up the license plate, it doesn't say Minor has just finished a 16-hour shift. If you're parked on the crosswalk, if you're parked on the fire hydrant, you get the ticket. Not everyone gets it because sometimes the police miss it. But when they see it, they give the ticket, and I assure you, they're not targeting hardworking people. They just have a job to do. So do the patrol enforcement officers. For real. There's no conspiracy here, at least not in parking. There are some conspiracies around. I've been watching too much TikTok. It has me worried. I don't know. We'll talk about those later. All right, let me see. En el Pulaski, enfrente, ahí hay un parqueo. Debieron de construir para arriba y ayudar también. Yorkie, what is it? Yopis Ivan, we are. I'm adding 55 new spaces at Pulaski Park. I can't do a parking deck there. There's no space there. We have to be practical. Sí, estoy haciendo nuevo estacionamiento en el Pulaski Park. Sí. All right. Mi pregunta es, ¿qué van a asegurar poniendo tickets por la noche? Que los carros comerciantes dejan de parquear en la calle, que personas dejan de bloquear pompas y que la gente dejan de parquear delante de los stop signs. She said, what are you going to get out of giving tickets overnight? That people stop blocking fire hydrants, stop blocking crosswalks, stop obstructing visibility and causing accidents. That's what we get. And that commercial vehicles don't stay overnight. All right. Also, Mayor, residents are not considering their neighbors by messing up parking spaces. Yes, Alex Velez Lopez, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes the neighbors call. You think it's always us. I'm not trying to rat on anybody. Sometimes it's the neighbors. Not your neighbor. Your neighbor's great. It's some other neighbor. Don't go start a fight with your neighbor. I don't want to start fights. But sometimes it's a neighbor who says, hey, these people are parked here. There's some people, they just look out their window, excuse me. I think about that. I was picturing it. There's some people who just look out the window constantly looking for something to call the cops on. And they say there's 3 cars parked on the corner. The cops show up because it's recorded. They put in a complaint. They give the tickets. A veces son los vecinos. No el vecino tuyo, es otro vecino, no el tuyo. El tuyo es bueno. Pero hay otros vecinos que a veces llaman porque ven estacionamiento y llaman a la policía y viene la policía y dan los tickets. All right, listen. I'm going to take a break because I'm holding a special guest here. I'm going to invite a special guest over. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our Deputy Chief of the Passaic Police Department, Deputy Chief Louis Gentile. Tenemos a nuestro vicejefe de la policía, vicejefe Louis Gentile, y va a responder algunas preguntas. Deputy Chief, come on by, grab a chair. See if you can get a chair. I'm going to read a few questions. This is our Deputy Chief. You might need to bring that up. Bring the chair up because that's really low. I'm going to look like a talk show host. Like I'm one of those talk show hosts. I feel like one of those talk show hosts. I'm too high. I feel like I have to ask you a question. So how long have you been in this? Tell us, are you here to plug a new movie? What's going on? You gotta bring the seat up. See, yeah. All right, we're going to bring a different chair. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having some technical difficulties. And somebody should give the ticket to the chief for a bad chair, please. All right, Chief, that looks good. Fancy, Chief.
Now to be too tall.
Ah, you're right. Chief is fancy. Come on in, Chief. Ok, tenemos el vicejefe de la policía. La silla estaba muy bajita para eso. Le dimos una silla más alta. I don't think his feet touching the ground right now. All right, it's good. Chief, you're dangling his legs. That's not good. All right, tenemos vicejefe. All right, so I know you guys have some questions for the chief of police. We're going to go all the way down, but Chief, if you can share some things, and then we'll try to translate. Let me see. Mayor, desde el verano pasado hay 3 coches que no los han movido. Rex, escríbeme claro, Rex, para yo poder entender. Movido, desea esos carros están abandonados. Uno tiene el parabrisa roto. Los policías dicen que no pueden hacer nada. Rex, yo tengo policía aquí mismito. Rex says there's been an abandoned vehicle, three abandoned vehicles, and that they're not moving, and the police have been told, and the police aren't doing anything. Chief, if somebody leaves an abandoned vehicle on the street, what are the police going to do? Is it nothing? You can't do anything about it? You can't tell me you can't do anything.
We're going to do something.
All right.
Right away. Let
Can
us
you
know
elaborate?
Where those cars are. Let us know. We're going to do something. We're gonna
Do something.
If you let us know where those cars are, we first have to issue it a warning for 24 hours. If it's still there after 24 hours, we could tow the vehicle for not moving. Every vehicle has to move within a 24-hour period.
Chief, I've been telling everybody 48 hours. They told me the second day you can move it. So you're saying after 24 hours?
Yeah, you could tow it.
So if you come and check at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and you mark the car, and the next day at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you mark the car, and it hasn't moved, you can tow it after 24 hours?
Correct.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's got shorter. I've been told by ordinance it was 48 hours. The chief is saying 24 hours. We have that verified, Chief?
You want me to triple check?
Please triple check.
I'm going to triple check.
I'm sure you're right. The chief may be able to say, he may say that you can tow it after 24 hours. I just want to double check because I want to give you accurate information. Le quiero dar información correcta. María, ¿por qué no marca los parqueos? Pero, María, yo lo estoy haciendo. Lo hice en el Hudson, en la Lexington, en la Myrtle Avenue, en la Gregory, en la Broadway. Es que estamos en invierno. Y ahora en el invierno no puedo marcar los vehículos. Permiso. Porque en la nieve y cuando hace frío no se puede pintar. Pero en la primavera voy a comenzar a pintar. She said, why don't we paint parking spaces? I have been doing it. I did on Hudson Street, Myrtle Avenue, Main Avenue, Lexington in different areas, Gregory and Broadway. But now we're going to start doing it in the spring. We don't do it in the winter because of the snow and the weather conditions. All right, Chief, you got some time? You got any updates? Where are we at?
The mayor was right. I was wrong. 48 hours.
48 hours.
For ordinance.
I'm not going to say the chief was wrong. What I'm going to say is that if there are other extenuating circumstances, they could tow in 24 hours. Because you may have said it's been there for a week. If they find that the car has anything suspended, they could tow. So sometimes they can check within 24 hours, but if they get verified that it is abandoned, they can tow. But it is 48 hours. 48 hours. So I just want to give you realistic expectations. Son 48 horas. All right, Chief, let's go to the next question. Mayor, What are you doing about all the school vans from towns like Lake Hiawatha, Parsippany, Pinesbrook, parked all over the streets of Passaic, taking up resident parking? Why are they not getting ticketed? Gio, they can park there in the day, right?
The school vans.
Any commercial vehicle can park there in the day, but after 10 o'clock, they can't be parked on the street.
So when ordinances, the mayor, you've done a lot with that.
Yes.
So, and to not make it very confusing here on this live, you have S1s, S2s, you have different type of commercial vehicles, different type of buses, different. So we could update you on the ordinances as far as when they could park, when they cannot park. But what I will tell you is the mayor has done so much. Our traffic department has done so much. Captain Burnett identifying, hey, which vehicles could be parked. Captain Rivera when he was there. So the mayor has done a lot of work with that. We could update. Maybe the mayor will post the ordinances as far as S1s and S2s and how long they could be parked and when they could be parked. But the mayor's done a lot of work on that. Our traffic department is very aware of it. Our patrol division is very aware of it. And that has been addressed. Believe me, that has been identified. There's been a far less issue with that because there were, to the public's credit, a lot of these vehicles that were being parked there, being allowed to be parked overnight, some during the day that shouldn't be out there during the day, but it is absolutely being addressed.
Ok, de noche no pueden parquear, en el día hay designaciones S1, S2 en tema de vehículos comerciantes y dónde pueden estacionar, hay ordenancia. Vamos a trabajar con eso, Gio. We're going to work with that. All right, they are getting ticketed. If they park overnight, they are getting ticketed. Hold on, I just had it. Let me see, Miss Evelyn Barbosa. We have vehicles blocking our driveway, and we call to have them towed, but they just get ticketed. Chief, if someone blocks your private driveway, so your driveway belongs to you, you pay taxes.
Your own.
And you pay taxes.
Okay.
Some say too much taxes. You personally, you say too much tax. I understand. I'm trying to work on that. And they call the cops. I can't get out. I have to go somewhere. The mayor said we should come to the meeting. I can't. I'm being blocked in my driveway. Do you get a ticket or do you tow it?
In your own personal driveway.
The cops show up. Somebody else is blocking your driveway.
Yeah, that's a
Is
problem.
it a ticket or
That's
a tow?
problem. So the mayor made an ordinance where if it's your driveway, your own personal driveway,
Yes.
you could park your car there. But someone else can't block your own
So
driveway.
what's the consequences?
So you're
Tow or
gonna get a
ticket?
summons. So I'm going to tell you what the police do. What we do is, yeah, absolutely get a summons. You could also get towed. But I'm telling you now, the officers are instructed, and they do it. I see they do it. They're going to do that little toot, 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 real loud with the sirens, right? They're going to put the lights on. They're going to knock on doors. They're going to say, hey, look, what does this plate come back to? And then they're going to go knock on the door and go, hey, can you move your vehicle? What we have in the city of Passaic is we have a lot of vehicles that are registered not to the city of Passaic. Not that we don't have a lot of residents that are parking in Passaic, but if they have a registration from another state, from another city, from another, now we can't go knock on their door. But if their plate comes back to Passaic and they're parked really close, we're going to actually knock on the door and say, hey, can you move the car? But you will receive a summons.
But Chief, if I'm blocking a driveway and I need to get out, will the police tow the car if it doesn't move?
Yeah, if we cannot identify the driver, get them to come move their car, yes, we're going to tow it.
Ok, si alguien se estaciona delante de tu driveway y no pueden identificar el dueño del carro y no se mueve, le puede llevar la grúa. Eso viene del vicejefe de la policía, Luis Gentil. All right, Mr. Parker, we'll look at whether we could paint yellow lines. Those are restrictive in terms of how much parking you take away. We're trying to add parking. Yellow lines take away parking, but we'll do a traffic study. All right. Let me see, Flores. Las policías ya no protegen a la comunidad, están para... Yo no voy a decir esa palabra. Flores, Méndez, Veri, no escribe cosas que yo no puedo decir. Que hay niños mirando. Y ustedes después van a decir, ¿tú oíste lo que dijo el alcalde? Las policías están aquí para proteger. He said the police aren't here to protect, they're here to, I'll say the word in a different way, to hassle the public. The police are here to protect and serve. La policía están aquí para proteger. A veces uno se siente mal cuando reciben los tickets. Yo he recibido tickets. I've received tickets. Let's be fair to the police. We want them to move somebody else's car. We get upset when it's us and it's our car that's doing wrong. Let me see if we get to specific questions. Okay, 183rd Street. Ya no vive la persona que puso discapacitado. Ya se fue. That's a good question. All right. If you no longer live in a place but you still have the designated handicap, call our city, 973-365-5510. Si alguien tiene un parqueo, estacionamiento discapacitado y todavía no vive ahí o ya se mudó o desafortunadamente falleció, llame a la ciudad. 973-365-5510 y se lo vamos a remover. A veces ustedes se enteran antes de nosotros que la persona se mudó o falleció. Nosotros chequeamos cada año, pero si pasa dentro del año, déjanos saber para quitarle ese estacionamiento. Sometimes you find out before we do that someone unfortunately passed away or moved away and they're not using the handicap anymore. Let us know. Call 973-365-5510. We'll address it for you, and we'll remove it. All right, let me see. Mr. Mayor, as a former member of our youth council, I've learned that advocating is essential. I would like to ask Ms. Jezebel Fernandez, neighbors, procedures for neighbors double parking. In front of my house on Harrison Street, there is enough space for 2 cars to park. Because parking on my street has become scarce, neighbors will park their vehicle in the middle of both parking spots as a method to save parking, which I assume is for their family members. However, some people will try to fit their vehicles in the snug space that is left over, which leaves the driveway of my house to be blocked. My parents pay property taxes, and it is not fair. All right, guys, I'm not sure if the live is back on. I think we had a temporary stop. Let me see if we're actually back on. It doesn't appear. Okay, it looks like we're back on. I'll let you know if we're back on. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. I'll just confirm if we're actually live. Okay, we are live. All right, guys, we're live. So, sorry, Jezebel. Sorry, we had some battery issues. Very quickly, Jezebel. Yes, I'll address it with the chief of police. If someone's blocking your driveway, and because they're blocking your driveway, and people are trying to save spaces, but they're saying it's not insufficient or it's not sufficiently blocked, there's still enough space to get out. I'll discuss this regarding an ordinance because technically you have to be impeded from getting out of your driveway for there to be a tow or a ticket. That'll get addressed through ordinance. It's a good point. Thank you, Jezebel, for sharing. I know many disconnected when the battery went dead. Hopefully you'll come back for the answer, but thank you, Jezebel, for that question. Isabel dice, si alguien parcialmente te está bloqueando el driveway, si le pueden dar un ticket. Eso yo lo voy a ver por la ordenancia. Voy a hablar con el abogado a ver si podemos cambiar la ordenancia. Thank you for that. Mr. Mayor, there seems to be people that park in their one driveway that block the sidewalk. That can the police do about it? That's a good question, Hector. You cannot impede the driveway. Call the police. They can get a ticket. You cannot park on the sidewalk. You cannot. I understand what you're saying. They park on the entrance of their driveway and they block the sidewalk. If it's temporary, you're just dropping something off, there's leeway. Obviously, the police aren't going to get there in time. If they're leaving it for an extended period of time, they can get a ticket for obstructing the pathway, the pedestrian pathway. So call the police. It's not a 911 call. It's more of a 973-365-3900 general police call. Okay. If you need a handicap parking, you can apply at our engineering department for handicap parking. Passaic Engineering, that's located at 873 Main Avenue in Passaic, New Jersey at our DPW site. You can go there and apply at engineering for a handicap space. Let me see. Alcalde, en la Market por México, Delhi, siempre hay carros y double parking y es un peligro. Yes, Leon, there is double parking by Market Street. Sí, hay parqueo del doble por la Market Street, pero eso es porque hay muchos negocios y a veces no hay parqueo. La gente quiere entrar a buscar su comida. Tratamos de entender, pero sí, vamos a mandar más policía. Es que tenemos que tener una balanza. Mira, mi hermano, permíteme que le quiero aclarar y quiero ser real y sincero. Si enforzamos y somos muy rígidos, los negocios van a sufrir. Si no enforzamos, vamos a tener desorden. Tratamos de hacerlo en una balanza. Tengan paciencia. Poco por poco se va a mejorar. Yo estoy buscando otra solución para Market Street para buscar el estacionamiento. All right. Let me see. Will more police be hired for the next civil service test this year? Luis Zayas, I am considering, but we have a tough budget. So I never want to hire so much that we may have to lay off in the future. I try to be very pragmatic in who we bring on. And some people get very excited at the idea, hey, hire 200 more police. It means taxes are going to go up significantly. Now, if you're with it, the taxpayers tell me, Mayor, we want 300 police. We'll pay whatever we need to pay. I'm your mayor. I'm here to do what you ask. Not always, but within reason, where collectively it serves the interests of the whole of the city. I don't have support to hire as many people as I want. So we try to maximize the resources that we have and make sure we have sufficient police to patrol the city. Okay? That's the response to that. But yes, if there are more retirees, I will be looking to replace those who retire. Hay carros que los mueven no más cuando pasa la barriadora. So there's a statement that cars are only moving when there's a street sweeper. Chief, do you have anything to say about that?
Cars only move when there's a street sweeper?
Yes.
Well, again, another initiative, Mayor, really early when he came in, he wanted to make sure that the streets were being cleaned if people were receiving summonses, right? So the initiative is, yes, when a street sweeper goes by, comes into a neighborhood, that's when summonses are going to be issued. Yeah. So they are saying that cars are being moved when street sweepers come. That's a good thing.
They're saying they only move. They abandon the car. They only move when the street sweeper comes.
So they only move when the street sweeper goes through.
Yeah.
And then leave it there for like days. That's a problem.
If it's 48 hours, we can take it.
That's a problem.
Si pasa 48 horas, llama y se lo llevamos. A Miss Kathy Martin says, I wish I had a mayor in D.C. like the Passaic has.
I'll let you answer that.
Go ahead.
Having a Miss Kathy Martin was a very great benefit to the city of Passaic also. I would add to that.
He said, nobody told you to leave.
Where you at? Wait, is Kathy over? Where you
Come
at?
back.
Where you at? Where you at, Kathy?
We have a few houses for sale. Come to Passaic. All right, let me see. All right, let me see. Carmen Gonzalez. Pero hay vecinos que tienen su parqueo y parqueadero afuera. Es verdad. Carmen, es un problema. Vecinos residentes de la ciudad de Passaic, si usted tiene un driveway, por favor, utilízalo y abre un poco de estacionamiento para los vecinos. La Biblia dice, ama a tu prójimo, como te amas a tú mismo. Tú quisieras tener más estacionamiento, ofrece a los demás. Si tiene ahí un driveway, vamos a ser una comunidad que se preocupa y ayuda a uno de otro y uno y otros, y eso es demostrar amor. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a driveway, use it and open up space in your block. The Bible says, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. The greatest demonstration of love, well, according to scriptures, that one would lay their life down for another, as the Lord did, and that's whole theology and salvation. But in terms of driveway and parking, a great demonstration, maybe not the greatest, a great demonstration of love is to care for your neighbor by providing an additional parking space by using your driveway. Use your driveway. Listen, I get it. Sometimes me and my wife put both of our cars in the driveway when it's really busy on the street. And sometimes we park on the street. It can be difficult. But when you know that it snows and it's challenging, put your car in your driveway. It's going to make a difference.
Can I ask the public a question?
Yes, go ahead.
So I've heard from Minor, and I heard another gentleman earlier that you mentioned. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. But I have a question for the public. Why do police or POs issue summonses? And I'm open to responses. I've asked this of officers, and I've got some interesting responses. Why do police or POs issue summonses? And let me see what they say.
A PO is a patrol enforcement officer, for those of you who don't know. PO, they're hired by the police department, but they're civilians who give out tickets, patrol enforcement officers with authority when they give out tickets. Don't get into arguments with POs. They are operating under official orders of the police department and have full authority, to give you tickets and to write summonses. But the question from the chief, Why do you think they give tickets? Ciudad de Passaic, el jefe de policía pregunta, ¿por qué tú crees que ellos dan tickets? Now, me being politically savvy, I would never ask that question, as it opens up a Pandora's box of individuals.
Okay, get to a good point.
All right, he wants to create issues on my life. He could have did his own life. So apparently, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Deputy Chief Gentiles Live. I'm just, I guess, you know, it's his world. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a little nut here in his live. Ladies and gentlemen, Deputy Chief Gentiles Live, he has a question. El vicejefe de la policía quiere saber,
I don't think anyone answered that.
¿qué tú crees? ¿Por qué quedan tickets? Yo como alcalde no soy capaz de hacer esa pregunta porque van a venir respuestas interesantes. Él dijo, sí, yo quiero hacer la pregunta. So, aparentemente, él ha decidido que esta presentación pertenece a él. So, dale las respuestas que ustedes quieren. Yo voy a leer su pregunta. All right, Chief, have at it. I'm going to read other people's questions.
I don't think they answered, though.
No, it goes all the way on the bottom. We got hundreds of... Okay. Just to be clear, one doesn't need a permit on the weekend from Friday night. Well, you just asked the question. It's going to come, Chief. Friday night to Sunday, correct? Well, you need a permit for specific areas in the city. It depends on how the ordinance is read. So you have to tell me what area you're talking about. Let's see. Andy, you should do parking permits for the residents only and not a... Andy, I want to do parking permits. I said it so many times. You want parking permits? Come out and vote so I can have the power to push for it, because I've been pushing for it for years. And every time I say the whole community wants it, 2 people show up. When I tell people there's tens of thousands of people voting and only a few come out, how do I get this done? You can't go to war without an army. Some of these ordinances, you got to go to war. Andy, I'm just being real. You want me to make change? Come out, man. Don't stay in. I need everyone together, and then we can make it happen. I've answered it. I'll get off my soapbox. All right, let me see. Mr. Mayor, does the city consider implementing parking stickers for the people who live in Passaic? Giovanni, I've said it so many times. I'll do it. I'll push for parking permits again, but I need the people. You got to come out. We have 30,000 registered voters. Come out. Come out and vote so I can show the power of our people and push for the permits for Passaic. That's a whole lot of peas. I need your help. We have potential to get the progress. But if you don't come out, we got a problem. See all those peas? They're important. Seriously, you want parking permits? Come out, man. Just come out during the election. Come out during the meetings. Let people know that we have a lot of numbers and we're strong. Because as a leader, I can't stand up against my colleagues or go to the county or the state for initiatives when the people aren't coming out. I'm being real. This is some candid talk. You know, there's the Mayor Hector, there's government, and then there's Candid Carlos. I'll get real with you and tell you what's up. Without your vote, I don't have the capital to move things forward. I need you to come out so I can say, me and this whole army need this initiative. But when I'm like, me and 2 other people are out here trying to fight, it doesn't have the same impact. Let's get to the Chief's question on the Chief's Live. All right, let me see if anybody answers. Tell me when and where. That's what I'm talking about, Patrick. I'll let you know. But, you know, I go on the lives. I say, come out. Elections, they happen every year. Come out and vote together so people see that we're strong and we come out and we evolve. But in terms of meetings, I'll put them up. I'll do the town hall meetings, but show up. Because together we can get whatever we want done as a community if it benefits all. But if you don't come out, then it's just stuff we talk about. If you don't come out, it stays just stuff we talk about. We want to change it from what we talk about to what we make happen. Let's get it done. All right. In the street cleaning, sign reads 10 to 12, and the sweeper passed at 10:30. Can you park on the side of the street? Yes. If it passed, I also put a law that the traffic enforcement must follow the street sweeper. It can't give you a ticket if it's not with the street sweeper. Now, once the street has been cleaned, you can park back on the street. You don't have to stay off it the whole time. I shared that when I first became mayor. I changed that law right away to provide more parking. All right. Miriam, yes, I'll let you know. All right, let us know when the meeting will be held. Giovanna Rosa, I will. But come out. When I'm like, let's gather together. When I'm like, let's form, run around individually for those of you who grew up in the 80s. But when I make the call to Voltron, if we don't have an arm and a leg, we'll fall. You gotta Voltron, you know, all the lions together, all the line, the legs, the arms, body, the head, and then we're strong. So when I say unite, let's unite, and then we can fight, and then we can get things done, and that'll be all right. Then once it's finished, we can say goodnight. All right. Parker, they don't believe voting makes a difference. Voting does make a difference. I know you're cynical, you're jaded. Sometimes you voted for people and go, nothing's happened. I got it. I'm in the system, so I get it. But I'm being real. If you come out in large numbers, we make big things happen. Come out. Doesn't matter which election, just keep coming out. It takes 5 minutes to make a huge difference, man. You come out, and people see it. And those officials that you're coming out for, they're empowered to stand strong and say, listen, my people voted me in here to make this happen. All right, I've made that point. I've kind of beat that horse. All right, Roca, alcalde, ¿qué pasa con los parqueos que andan, las personas que andan en bicicleta y se atraviesan y no respetan a las señales? All right, Rocha said, can you talk about the bikes, the people who ride bikes on sidewalks or on the streets and bump into people and don't respect the rules? Are they subject to the same laws as cars, traffic lights and everything?
Are we talking about electric bikes or
all bikes?
All bikes? Yeah, there's traffic laws for bikes, absolutely. Now, whether it's a motorized bike or a bicycle, there's different laws that apply. But there are laws of safety for both, absolutely.
Okay, hay leyes que son iguales de carros y de bicicletas. La policía le están dando multas a la bicicleta, van a seguir trabajando, pero sí hay leyes que son similares y ellos no pueden andar en la calle haciendo lo que les dé la gana. Jesse said, keep asking. Some parking officers only ticket certain cars, and it's not fair. Jesse, there's a difference. Let me give you a difference. Geraldo, are you still on? Geraldo, I hope you're still on. I know I said I would address you. Geraldo, if you're still on, I want to show you the video. Geraldo, you posted up a video. Geraldo, si tú todavía estás ahí, tú pusiste un video. Hay una pregunta, and the question is, why do some cars get tickets and some cars don't? Este es el video que tú pusiste, aquí atrás. Geraldo, tú puedes ver que donde tú parqueaste, aquí había un crosswalk, pero también, alante de la escuela, ahí no hay un stop sign. So, rewind that video. Go back to the stop sign. Don't show people license plate. All right, we're going to stop. Once we get to the stop sign, you're going to pause. All right, wait, pause. A little bit more. All right, pause. Geraldo, la diferencia, tú preguntaste la diferencia y te quiero responder honestamente. Ese carro ahí estaba estacionado donde había un stop sign y un crosswalk. Es un doble de violación de la ley. Y si alguien tiene que doblar a la derecha, porque hay carros que están viniendo de la izquierda, porque ellos no pueden ver los otros carros que están entrando porque está bloqueado el stop sign, ellos no paran y se puede chocar. Por eso que en algunas esquinas la violación es un poco más grave que la otra. Guys, what I was going to tell you is that some violations, and all violations can be ticketed, some are more serious than others. You parked where there was a crosswalk and a stop sign. That's a double violation. And also, because of the oncoming traffic, if you're going to make a right turn and there's a vehicle on the corner and someone's going to make a left turn in, you can result, or rather your parking on that corner can result in an obstruction of visibility, which can result in an accident, and that could be fatal. So some police, yes, they'll give tickets when the violation is a little more serious than a minor violation, like you just parked in a dead end and there's a crosswalk and it's overnight and there's no reasonable expectation that people are crossing. But other than that, yes, double violations, that's like parking on the sidewalk during street cleaning in the snow. You're like, why'd I get the ticket? My man, you broke every law in the book and added some. That's what could happen. Geraldo, I understand you're frustrated, but that's what occurred. Geraldo, yo sé que es frustrado, pero a veces hay gente que tiene mucha violación de la ley en un estacionamiento. Eso es como parquear arriba de la acera en el día de nieve, cuando quiere pasar la pala. Uno dice, violaste toda la ley y algunas que ni teníamos escrito. Algunas situaciones el carro está parqueado en un lado donde puede causar un accidente y recibe un ticket y el otro carro de noche le están tratando de dar un chance. Por eso. Hopefully that answered that question. When are the town meetings? Gilberto, town meetings I do town meetings around the community. I'll let you know. And then the council meetings. They happen twice a month on Tuesdays, typically sometimes on Thursdays. They're posted up on the city website. All right, let me see. Jesse Tapia, take a picture and forward it to the investigation, please, and thank you. All right. Yes. You're receiving some community answers. Me voy a ir en contra de la fiesta de nightclub. No debieran obligar a que tengan parqueo porque el fin de semana viene menos. Geraldo, yo entiendo. Y fiesta, mira, tratamos de apoyar nuestros comerciantes, nuestros negocios. Estoy feliz que le va bien, pero entiendo que es difícil. Está creando unos retos en la comunidad. Yo he hablado con los dueños de fiesta. Ellos están comprando las propiedades alrededor para tratar de hacer el estacionamiento. Es como un problema bueno. Le está yendo tan bien que mucha gente viene y eso es bueno para ellos, pero difícil para la comunidad. Estamos hablando con ellos. Let me see. José Luis Águila. ¿Será que no frenan los que andan manejando? Se pasan las luces. Tengo que frenar. He said a lot of cars have recently been going through red lights, Chief. I've noticed it as well. Can we step up traffic patrol on individuals going through red lights?
Absolutely. And spoke to the officers a lot about that. You're going to see officers much more aware, paying a lot more attention to that. Today we had enforcement, anyone that was out there. You saw a lot of cops on Route 21 for speeding and such, but moving violations are something that's very important that we have to be on top of, and officers are increasing their awareness and stopping more vehicles forward.
La policía va a enforzar mucho más las personas que están cruzando los semáforos cuando la luz está roja. Entendemos que está ocurriendo mucho y la policía está alerta y atento y está dando mucho más multas para prevenir un accidente, una tragedia en la ciudad. También ustedes han visto operaciones en la Ruta 21 en diferentes áreas donde la policía está trabajando con subsidios para parar personas y asegurar que los vehículos que están en las calles están haciendo lo que tienen que hacer. You've also seen stepped-up operation, direct result from grants in order to have more enforcement, ensure the vehicles on the road are driving safe, are up to date, and are doing everything that they're supposed to.
And I would say that's very astute by that gentleman that mentioned that, because a large percentage of fatalities and crashes occur from running red lights. So that shows a lot of awareness on his part.
Okay. Guadalupe. Excuse me. Guadalupe, las personas con motos y bicicleta con batería no respetan. Motorized bikes and motorized vehicles, they're not respecting drivers. They're cutting in between. They're parking, reckless driving. How are you addressing that?
When we do see that, we will stop those motorized bikes. When we could, I think you do also see that they have a tendency to be kind of shifty and get away from law enforcement. But when we see it, we address it immediately. We are stepping up and looking to find ways to identify the driver and then write summonses to the driver afterwards if we can't stop the driver at that point. So that's good for the public to know too. There's a lot of times they may see, oh, the cops didn't do anything. You may not know what's happening behind the scenes. There's cameras, there's pictures we take, there's videos we recover. If we identify the driver through those means, we could also issue summonses through the mail. They don't respond to it, warrants get put out for them, they end up having to come back to court. So you don't always assume that cops are not doing something because they didn't do it at that moment. There are other methodologies that we approach violations of such that you mentioned.
A serious look on my face because I have to translate all that. I was kind of hoping that it was going to be. All right, guys, here's what's going on with that. Give me 1 second. So, él dice que lo que están en motores de batería o bicicletas de batería, muchas veces tú ves que ellos cortan dentro de los carros. Obviamente eso no es bueno y es difícil para la policía seguirlo porque son tan pequeñitos, pero aunque tú no ves que lo agarran, hay cámaras, a veces hay investigación y ellos lo encuentran ahorita. Simplemente porque tú no lo ves, no quiere decir que algo no está ocurriendo. Ellos van a seguir trabajando y enforzando la ley para reducir los incidentes de accidentes o personas que están causando problemas en los vehículos de batería, bicicleta o motores. All right, let's see. Yo soy el de la bicicleta. Sí, José Luis, pero tú eres responsable con tu bicicleta, ahí manejando tu bicicleta por todos sitios. All right. Perla, a mí me pusieron un ticket cuando ya había pasado la barriadora, solo faltando 10 minutos para las 2:30. Perla, tú me escribiste un libro. Yo lo voy a leer, pero... Un libro, ok, está bien. Es justo, porque yo hablo mucho. Tú tienes el derecho de escribir mucho, porque tu alcalde habla mucho. Está bien, ok. Solo faltando 10 minutos para 2:30 y me vio que había llegado y subí a casa y cuando volví pasé la variadora y salí de casa rápido y oficial me vio y hasta rápido lo puso en mi carro y había otro carro enfrente de la escuela, pero como eran de la escuela y ellos no le pusieron tickets y me dice, oh no te vi, hay cámaras en la casa que pueden sostener esto y las cámaras de la escuela. Y en esta semana pasó lo mismo, pasó variadores y el oficial estaba en una cuadra viendo como 5 carros y pasó 20 minutos antes de la hora final, no le puso tickets igual, esto está en las cámaras, pero esto no es honesto de su parte, pero Perla, no fui yo que te di el ticket. Yo entiendo que no es honesto. Tú dices que no es honesto de mi parte. Me imagino que está hablando de gobierno porque yo no salí allá a darte tu ticket, pero lo voy a tomar serio. Déjame seguir leyendo. Perla. Se corrompen para poner tickets para que le paguen sus comisiones por ticket. Perla, nadie recibe comisión sobre ticket. Perla, yo sé que tú estás frustrada. Yo entiendo. Pero no haga acusaciones. ¿Qué tú crees? Que ellos vienen con su ticket de $70 y le dan $7. Nosotros no trabajamos así. Somos gobierno. Nadie está recibiendo dinero en su bolsillo por darle un ticket. Nadie recibe promoción, no hay incentivo para dar más tickets. Pero te dieron un ticket y tú dices que hay video, tráeme el video, tráelo al ayuntamiento. Y te prometo que lo vamos a la corte y se quitamos ese ticket. Pero no te ponga a dar acusaciones o hacer acusaciones que no tienen base. Pero vamos a ser serios. Que si comenzamos así, la gente va a creer que eso es verdad. Y yo te prometo que nadie está recibiendo comisión sobre dar ticket. Seguramente no tu alcalde. Ven a ver mi casa. Ahí no hay mucho dinero. No tenemos nada, pero nadie está recibiendo. Yo te lo prometo. City of Passaic. Perla said that the police officers, they give out tickets even though the sweeper left. They do it around the schools. They give it to some. They don't give it to others. They avoid the teachers, but they give it to the residents. Here's the thing. Perla also wrote, they're doing this because they get commissions from each ticket. That's not the case. Perla, no one's getting a $70 ticket and then the person who wrote the ticket gets $7. There's no commission. That's not how things work. Perla, don't make allegations, things like this. We have to be serious. Perla, there are no incentives. Nobody gets promoted because they wrote more tickets. You don't get a bonus because you wrote more tickets. Tickets are written because that's their job. If you have a video showing that they were inconsistent, bring it. We'll take it to the court. We'll have your ticket removed. You have evidence, we'll work with you. We're just trying to regulate and keep our streets clear. Okay.
Circling on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
And that was one of the reasons why I asked the public, why do you think officers issue summonses? It's good that the public is aware that there's an absolute correlation between summonses and accidents, right? So let's just say hypothetically, don't want to put any numbers out there, that there's a few hundred accidents per month in the city. If you look at your enforcement, which is writing summonses, you will see that that is low. And that's why there's more accidents. More accidents mean more injuries. More injuries mean more time out of work, more time that family suffered. More accidents mean more deaths, right? More deaths, I don't have to fill in, that means, you know, a lot. So without issuing summonses, you lose the awareness of things. Summonses are issued for awareness. They're not issued for monetary reasons, like the mayor they're not issued for promotional, they're not issued, mayor's not driving around the, $200,000 Mercedes because it doesn't work like that, right? It does not work like that. The way it works is there's an absolute correlation between issuing summonses and people being safer because it brings awareness. That's what it brings. Somebody asked me once, I've been asked this in my career, what's some of the hardest things you've ever done? And there's a long list of that, but the hardest thing I've ever had to do is being at an accident scene, and I've been at many, where somebody lost their life, and now the family comes. And at that moment, they realize, although we try to be sensitive about it and not kind of reveal too much information to 100% sure, but they know, I don't want to be gruesome, but there could be body parts or something. They know what the finality is. And you get that soul cry from that family, from that mom, from that grandmother, from that husband, from that wife, from that child. And I'm telling you, it's a direct correlation of not issuing enough summonses. Because summonses being issued brings awareness. Slowing down a little bit at that stop sign. Fine gentleman earlier mentioned something very deep where running red lights. These cause crashes, cause injuries, cause deaths. So it's a correlation between awareness of writing summonses, safety of residents. It's all a big correlation.
El punto que estaba haciendo el vicejefe de la policía es que las multas no se escriben para hacer dinero. Las multas se escriben para educar al pueblo, para asegurar que todo el mundo conozca la ley, porque puede evitar una tragedia. Él ha llegado a accidentes donde desafortunadamente ha habido muerte, donde personas han perdido su vida. A veces la multa demuestra que la policía está serio y las personas manejan con más cuidado. Hay algunas ciudades donde no se escriben muchas multas y hay muchos accidentes y mucho fallecimiento. So él dice que es una responsabilidad. Renee, can you put that video up again? Geraldo Pichon said his car was the wine-colored car. So this is not your car. The white one is not your car. Your car is, yeah, this is the one at the stop sign. So Geraldo, tú dices que este fue el carro que no recibió el ticket y el carro y este es el tuyo. Ese que tú me estás diciendo, Geraldo, si ese es el tuyo y no recibiste un ticket, aunque está prendido, tú y yo podemos hablar. Tráeme el ticket. El martes, venga al ayuntamiento. Geraldo, venga al ayuntamiento, que estoy ahí mirando tu carro en la pantalla aquí. Ven y trae tu carro. No tu carro, pero ven en tu carro. Trae el ticket el martes para yo verlo y vamos a trabajar con eso. Gracias por la oportunidad de responder a tu preocupación. Yo pensaba que tu carro era ese blanco. No sé si es el que tiene la luz. Si este es tu carro y obviamente, mira, no se puede doblar con tu carro ahí. Yo puedo entender por qué te dieron el ticket, pero vamos a hablar. Tráeme el ticket, vamos a hablar. Tú y yo vamos a conversar a ver cómo se puede arreglar. We'll talk about that together. You guys need bike lanes on Main Ave. We'll work on that, Teddy. We're working on that with engineering to add more bike lanes. We did it on Lexington Ave. We'll add some more on Main Ave. We did it on Broadway as well. All right, Alexis, common sense is not always so common. Alexis, la pregunta es ¿por qué el blanco no tenía ticket? Ya entiendo, Geraldo. Disculpa, no entendía por qué el blanco no le dieron ticket. No sé. Voy a averiguar. Tráeme el ticket el martes. Tú y yo vamos a conversar. Yo pensé que el tuyo era el blanco y ese que le dieron el ticket. Yo no sé cuándo fue estacionaron ahí. No sé cuándo fue que te dieron el ticket. Tráemelo. Yo voy a ver el horario y te voy a dar la respuesta. Gracias por darme la información. Let me see. The white car didn't have any tickets. I got it, Nelly. I just got it. I didn't get it before. Thank you, Nelly. I didn't have it before. I'm not sure if we're frozen right now.
How are they sure that the white car didn't get tickets?
Because the guy who got the ticket is the one the videotape. He just sold the videotape. So, ayuda por 3,600 al mes de renta. La dueña no me deja. Mayra, mándame la información porque, are we frozen? Oh, okay. It seemed like we were frozen for a bit. It might just be my phone. Listen, guys, we'll talk about rent on another time. There seems to be a little bit of technical difficulty on my phone, but I'm going to go through some of the last questions, and we're going to finish up. Next on Passaic Mundo, Jorge Martinez. That's funny. That's funny. Listen, we might start a new show, the Candid Carlos Show, where we just talk for real. Been wanting to work on that. No estoy haciendo acusaciones si... Mira, puse un signo de pregunta si eso es... Oh, perdón, Pela. Disculpa, Pela, a veces yo respondo cuando yo leo algo y me voy corriendo. Pela, no lo coge personal, porque yo no cojo lo que tú escribes personal. Si además fue una pregunta, discúlpame, querida, que mi intención fue solamente aclarar que no hay incentivo de dinero. Pero siempre tú me puedes hablar directo. Si lo leí mal, disculpa, que estoy viejito y los ojos ya no ven igual. Yo no vi la pregunta, yo pensé que era un statement, disculpa. Okay. Let me see if there's anyone else responding. Let me see if there's any other. All right. Abril Morales. Abril, la gran líder en la ciudad de Passaic, dueña de Ay Chihuahua, donde puedes buscar tus burritos o cualquier comida, California Roll, Caribbean Roll, todos los rolls, ellos lo tienen. La comida mejor, excelente, deliciosa. Pasa
They say
por
those things at dinner
Chihuahua.
time? That's not good.
Yes.
That's not
Let me
fair,
see.
man.
Es fundamental
That's not fair.
asistir a las reuniones y expresar nuestras preocupaciones, así como participar en todas las elecciones mediante el voto. Solo así nuestra voz se fortalece y generan un impacto real. I couldn't have said it better. Abri said it's important that we voice our opinion and share our concerns and be present in all activities, and then we get things done. Maria, what can we do about people who have their handicap parking spot and yet tend to park either in front or behind their designated spot? Maria, that's a good question. I started an initiative and passed an ordinance. It's called the Use It or Lose It. Use it or lose it. If you have a handicap space and you're not using it, we'll take it away. Send us a picture. Snap a picture. Get a picture. Send it to us. Maria, and if somebody is parking outside of the handicap and saving their handicap for someone else, we will remove their handicap, but we need evidence. We don't give out handicap designation. That comes from the state. So it's not the city. But we can make you lose the parking space. So take the picture and send it to us. Let me see. Ashi, Mayor, this is another issue. I've tried to apply for handicap parking. I have a sister who is disabled, and we can't get it approved. Ashley, there's a cap on how many you can get. So if a block is only allowed to have 2 and you apply for more than 2, they can deny you. En tema de los estacionamientos discapacitados o para personas discapacitadas, hay un límite. So en una cuadra o un vecindario, si nada más permiten 2, si tienen 2, no te dan el otro. Pero si tú pides para el otro bloque o a la vuelta de la manzana, te lo pueden dar ahí. So, chequea otra vez, ve y cuando te lo negaron, regresa a ingeniería y pregúntale, ¿hay otros sitios cercanos donde me lo pueden dar? Y ellos pueden averiguar. If you can't get one right there, you can ask, is there a near spot or one in proximity to my home around the corner on the other block? And they could check if one is available there. Okay, guys, yes, we'll check Gregory Avenue. Ashley, this is something that is important for my family since it's regarding my disabled sister. She suffers from muscular dystrophy, and unfortunately, as time passes by, her muscles continue to deteriorate. Ashley, yes. Again, check around the block. You can go to engineering and you can ask them, is there a spot in proximity to where I live where you could consider giving me another spot, and they can check that out. All right, Teddy mentioned that the scooters don't have license plates. We are following up on license plates and those motorized vehicles that don't have license plates, and bicycles and those toy vehicles, because they're not required. We've been pushing for legislation and law to update. So thank you, Teddy, for sharing that. All right, I think we've answered just about every question, and I'm going to go through some more questions later on, but I want to thank all of you for participating. I want to obviously tell you that I'm sorry for some of the technical difficulties that we have faced. They have been a bit of a challenge, but I try to get to, look, we have 304 comments. Ashley, you can meet with me anytime you want. This is the best way to reach me. You got it? Pay attention, everybody. I give it out always. Last 15 years, I've been giving it out public. 973-986-8269. That's my cell phone. I've never hit it. Everyone's always had it. My public number, 973-986-8269. I've only ever had one number. For 15 years, I've given it to you. If you can't reach me when you call, just send me a text. Sometimes I'm in a meeting. Sometimes I'm at an event. Sometimes I'm with my family. Not enough. I've realized that. In the next upcoming years, I'll be spending more time with my family. My kids are getting older, and I'm losing time with them that I'll never recover. But I'll try to reach out to every single one of you and respond. How to share that a little bit, because I've been thinking about that a lot. At the end of it all, what really matters is the time you spend with those who love you. I love serving the city. I love responding to all of you. But life is short. You got to make it count. So if I don't answer, send me a text. I'll get back to you eventually. But in City Hall, Tuesdays and Thursdays are always the easiest day to catch me in the office. Other than that, I try to be in the community. But if you text me or you show up and say, hey, I want to see the mayor, and leave your information, I'll come back to you. Okay? 973-986-8269. Myra, 973-986-8269. 826. I've had the same number for 15 years. Some of you have called at 3 in the morning. Don't do that. Don't do that. Had one person call at 3 in the morning just to talk. I said, listen, man, That is not an emergency. They wanted to talk about their favorite show and the difficulty they're going through. I don't mind conversing, but I got to get some sleep. To be fair, I did just get off a fire, so they thought I was still awake. All right, you got my number at the end of mi teléfono. You can call. Handicaps need to stop reserving parking for other people. Elliot, it's called the use it or lose it law. If you don't use it with your handicap space, you will lose it. Send us the information. All right, Ashley, that is my number right there, Ashley. You can call it. You wrote it out, but call it for something important. Or call it because you're inviting me to eat because I get hungry. And then I'm out, and if you cook a good soup or something or a hamburger, I'm a steak guy. Make a good ribeye. I'll come by. We'll bring the deputy chief. All right, Kenny Colano. Great job, Mayor Lora and Deputy Chief Gentile. Continue enforcing the laws of the City of Passaic. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Colano. We hopefully answer your question. We try to stay on topic. Parking spaces. Those of you who came in late in the very beginning, we did a presentation of some of the parking, not even all of the parking. We didn't talk to you about Broadway. There's other spaces we didn't get to. Dundee Island, there's a whole lot. We'll share those in the future. But there's hundreds, almost 1,000 new parking spaces, which isn't a panacea to all the problems we have, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, seeing if I miss anything. Belín, alcalde, disculpa por mi insistencia, pero es importante. Hoy que usted está hablando del tema, por eso le escribió, pero no le mis quejas. Belín, yo no vi lo que me escribiste. Mándamelo por Messenger y yo te lo voy a leer. Send it to me to Messenger. Guys, sometimes all the questions don't pop up, and then I see it after the live, so I'll try to go through some that I missed. Let me see. All right, guys, thank you very much. 6:45. We started at 5. That's an hour and 45 minutes. We're going to cut this short. We'll come back to you again live, maybe in the community, maybe in the car, maybe from here. It depends on what the next question is. Geraldo, gracias por hacer la pregunta y por ser la razón que hicimos esto. No solamente Geraldo, pero todos que tienen preocupaciones, siempre mi deseo es responder y estar disponible. Vamos a ver cuál va a ser el próximo tema. All right, thank you, Geraldo, for asking the question. Your car is the wine color car. I'm clear on it now. I know you couldn't turn. I'll find out why the white car didn't get a ticket. Deputy chiefs did say you may have not seen a ticket, and maybe they got a ticket in the mail. Sometimes one patrol officer will go by, and the LPR will read it, or they'll look at it and they'll send the ticket in the mail, and then the next person who comes already knows they're getting it in the mail, so they don't give it on the car. A veces, Geraldo, ya le dieron una multa que viene por correo. Quizá vino otro policía temprano y le dio uno, y viene por correo, o le puso uno y lo quitaron. Vamos a chequear si no le dieron, porque solamente porque tú no viste la multa no quiere decir que no se lo dieron. Quizá le dieron una multa anterior y no le quieren dar 2 o 3 por la misma cosa.
And Mayor, some people are even so brazen that they'll take the ticket off and still leave their car there.
Lily said some tickets come 1 year later, and that's ridiculous. Lily, I'm not going to argue with you. If you got a ticket a year after the infraction, that is ridiculous. I'm with you. If you did something in 2025, like January 2025, and you get the ticket in December of 2025 or February of 2026, that is ridiculous. If you have evidence of that, somebody wrote you a ticket in 1 year, but you got it the next year. Now, don't come with a ticket talking about they wrote it in December 31st and I got it January 2nd. Don't play. But if you got the ticket a year later, like 10 months later, bring it here. I will go with you to fight that ticket to say it's ridiculous. I'm with you. If you got a ticket a year later, that is ridiculous. I'm with you. All right, Ellie, people who don't have New Jersey plates should get tickets because what? Ellie, I just drove to North Carolina. Sometimes people come out of state to visit family. You can't give tickets to people because they came from out of state. Sometimes you're traveling. I once drove to Florida. Technically, I slept on the passenger side and my friend drove. He still talks about that. Because I said I could drive. I didn't know it was a stick shift. So it was 17 hours. He was mad at me for 17 hours. That was a tense ride. I said, listen, I'm here to be your wingman. But he thought we could split the ride. I digress. You get it. Sometimes people come from other communities. Somebody might come from New York, Pennsylvania. They're visiting. We can't just give you a ticket because you're from out of state. We're one nation. We respect all these imaginary lines that we create, but you can come here if you're from another state. It's not illegal. I'm going to be real with you. Okay. Oh, Ellie, but they live here. Some people live here but work in another state. Some people have done that. Now, I don't know. It's a gray area. If you're driving a company vehicle from New York, you might be bringing it home here in New Jersey. If you're getting better insurance in Pennsylvania, I don't know if that's valid. Some people are known to do that. I'll let the cops know. Excuse me. I have a neighbor who has multiple cars with different state plates. Ellie, send me the information on the street. We'll check it out. Your neighbor might be watching Facebook, might be like, come on, Ellie. Can we talk about this, Ellie? But, hey, we'll respond. All right. If they don't live here, we'll address it. Lily Tapia, Ellie Rivera, Passaic is flooded with out-of-state. Lily, I don't know if it's flooded. Sometimes we kind of, again, we use hyperbole. We'll say everybody's from out of state. Not everybody. A lot of people, maybe. Some, maybe not flooded. I haven't seen it everywhere. But
I could weigh in a little bit.
Go ahead, Chief.
Just to kind of touch on that. So if there's an out-of-state plate that a PEO writes a summons for, we have another step that we have to take to issue that summons because it's out-of-state. The court can't run the out-of-state. It has to be done at the front desk. To make a long story short, on a weekly basis, we are very far south of about 50 a week. If that gives some clarity.
De los miles de carros que hay, dicen que como 50 multas son de personas que viven de otros estados. Porque ellos tienen otro paso que tienen que tomar cuando hacen una multa de otro estado. No son muchos, pero sí hay, tiene razón. How about the people from the bars? Flora May Reyes, you got to be specific. I don't know. Are we upset they're not inviting us? I'm not sure what you're asking. No, I know what you mean. They park, they go to the bar. I can tell you this. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink alcohol and drive. You can drink like soda and juice and water. You'll be thirsty when you're driving. But don't drink alcohol and drive. If you have a designated driver, that's okay. Get a designated driver. Pick one person, and then everybody else can have a good time. But you shouldn't drink and drive. Try not to drink a lot. That's not healthy for you. Outside of that, yes, the bars get full because it's a business. And again, I mentioned that we have a balance. We don't want to be so rigid that the businesses fail. We don't want to be so permissive that the burden on the community is overwhelming. We try to balance it out. Cristina, buenas tardes, señor alcalde. Encontrar parking en todas las ciudades es difícil. A nuestra ciudad le ayudaría mucho que todos los residentes de Passaic tuvieran unos residentes parking. Cristina, yo lo he hablado varias veces, voy a concluir con esto. Apóyenme, respáldenme, salgan en números grandes. Yo voy a seguir luchando para permisos. Si no, es una guerra y nadie va a una guerra sin un ejército. Yo tengo apoyo, pero necesito un gran apoyo para hacer cambios transformativos. Ustedes quieren cambio grande, salgan grandemente. En las elecciones, salgan. Tenemos 30,000 residentes registrados a votar. Salgan a votar. No se dividen, manténganse unidos. Dame el apoyo grandemente y yo les prometo que yo les voy a traer el cambio que ustedes quieren en esa área. Pero si no, yo no tengo el respaldo ni el apoyo, porque yo digo, mira, todos estos miles de personas lo quieren y después salen un número pequeñito cuando necesitamos demostrar números grandes. Salgan a votar y les prometo, o vengan a las reuniones, o cuando les pido que salgan para apoyar una iniciativa mía, salgan para demostrar nuestra fuerza y después yo puedo poner esos cambios. I've said it so many times. You guys want big change? Those are wars. Nobody goes to war without an army. You need to show up. Come out big time for elections. 30,000 registered voters in the city of Passaic. You want big change? Show big support. Come out and be united. If we're not divided, we can get big things done. Nothing can be so big that it would stop us if we came out united. I don't know if I expressed that appropriately. There's nothing bigger than the unity of the community. Come out strong together and we can get things done. All right, are commercial cars allowed to use street parking? Actually, yes, but not overnight. Can you paint lines for parking spots? Jennifer, I did it on Myrtle Avenue, Hudson, Lexington, Broadway, different areas. We're going to try to get the rest of the city, but during the winter, you usually don't paint because the weather conditions aren't conducive. We'll start it up in the spring again. Yes, that's my initiative. And over the next few years, I'm going to keep painting parking lines. I've already started it. I've heard the community. I checked it out. I've been doing it. We haven't gotten to all the streets, but in the winter, you tend not to park. You tend not to paint because it's not conducive. It rains, it snows, it's very cold. It's better to do it in the springtime. So yes. Araceli, no ponga ticket a personas que tengan otras placas que no sea de Nueva Jersey, por favor, porque yo he ido a otros condados y sí ponen. Ok, Arelia, yes, Arelia, mira, si tienen seguro de otro estado, como estaban mencionando, eso es fraude. No queremos decir que uno tiene el derecho de hacer fraude. Nosotros damos tickets por infracciones o violaciones de la ley seria. Parquea bien, no importa qué placa, si está estacionado bien, no va a venir muchos problemas. No tenga placa de otro estado y también estaciona mal. Si está visitando, pero si está haciendo fraude, no lo haga. Que puede poner peligro.
Mayor, Calvin Johnson had a question earlier saying you should create like shuttle bus almost saying it doesn't
Yeah, but
exist.
I said I'm going to stay focused on just
Okay,
this topic.
fine.
But we have shuttle buses. We already created them. Thank you, Calvin Johnson. But we already did free, and I'm looking to expand it for weekends and late night. All right, let me see. Tía Dora, buenas noches, señor Hector Lora. ¿Pueden pasar por la 7th Avenue para ver cómo está? Esta noche voy a pasar. Tía Dora, I'll go by 7th Street tonight when I'm leaving. Downtown is flooded with people that go to bars and no parking on 4th Street. Great for the bar, but we'll address it. If they're parking legally, look, it's tough. We want our businesses to do well. I've addressed it. I can't be so restrictive that a business fails. If you want me to shut down the bar, they have to be in violation of something. What about those neighbors that save parking people in my street don't move their cars until their friends come to take their spots? Janice, it's illegal to try to save a spot for someone else. Look, we try to coordinate in neighborhoods and be considerate of our neighbors. If you keep parking in front of somebody else's house when you have a driveway and you're parking, that's rude, but not illegal. It's not appropriate neighbor etiquette. It's not illegal, but you should be considerate. Unfortunately, people aren't always considerate. In an ideal world, people get it. We don't live in an ideal world. However, if there's ever any real issues, like someone abandoned their car or leaves it for 48 hours to save a space, call the police and we'll tow them and they'll get the message. Ario, Passaic Street is all apartment and business and more apartment coming. It's a night down there. Ario, it wouldn't be a Mayor Lora Live without at least one jab from you. I got it. We're trying to create people want apartments. Ario, we have 600 kids graduating a year from high school. People want apartments. If I didn't provide apartments, people would be yelling, why aren't there more apartments? But I got it. We've been slowing it down. I've been slowing the development down, Ario. I've been slowing it down, right? We wanted to raise the housing stock, residential opportunities, but I've been slowing it down. But back to parking. We're going to conclude on parking. Ashley, because that's an issue here on 3rd Street, and the commercial vehicle is used to reserve parking for the individual's personal vehicles. I have noticed that this commercial vehicle uses street parking every day. Ashley, if the commercial vehicle stays overnight, send us a message. Call the police, not the emergency, but the general, 973-365-3900. If it's overnight, they can get a ticket. Jignesh Rana, thank you for watching. Let me see if there's any. Can the residential parking stickers be smaller? Yeah, I'll look into that. That's not a big deal. You mean the ones we already have? I was able to get some residential parking because I've gotten some support. Come out a lot. We get a lot more residential parking. Just saying. Teodora, por favor, hágalo lo de las líneas también en la avenida 6, 7 y 8, porque la gente se parquean a la mitad para apartar parqueo. Teodora, en la primavera vamos a estudiar y ver si podemos pintar más líneas ahí en el downtown. There is no parking anywhere. Moyo. No, I'm not frozen, Moyo. It didn't freeze. Moyo. Nowhere. Nobody. If I go outside, there's just no car. Not a single car is parked anywhere in Passaic. Not one parking, Moyo. 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 Cut it out. Yes, we have parking issues. It's an urban city, which is a bit redundant. It's urban, it's a city. It's a city. We have a lot of vehicles. Yes, I got it. But there's some parking, and we're adding some parking. Go to the beginning of this long, long presentation. All right, Moyo, that was entertaining. Let me see. Moyo, back to you. But these trucks take most of the street. There should be something done. Moyo, if they're parked overnight, we can give them tickets. Call us in, Moyo. Moyo, I like you. I like saying your name. Thank you, Moyo. All right, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the mayor of the City of Passaic, Hector Carlos Lora. This has been an interesting live. I try to stay on topic. Parking and tickets. We may have detoured just a little bit, but we made it back. And the chief tried to usurp, take control of the live, throw out a controversial question so that people could say, because y'all want to make more money, so you can add some money into your pocket so you can raise taxes. I don't know why he asked that question. Thank you guys for not answering that question. He said, listen, you gotta be careful who you invite on your live. You might need to, next week it might be Deputy Chief Gentile going live from his own page. Don't be causing issues for me this year, Deputy Chief. Pero thank you, Deputy Chief, for being with us. Thank you for answering all the questions.
Thank you,
and thank you for all the patrol enforcement officers. I let them know. How many patrol enforcement officers do we have overnight? A bunch of them, but on a regular night, it's about 2 a night.
Yeah, PEOs, we have 2. And if I could, thank you to some of the captains, like Captain Burnett.
Thank you, Captain Burnett. Captain Castellan.
For, making enforcement and making sure that it's relative to the safety of the residents and being fair and reasonable about it all.
Él le dio gracias a los capitanes de la policía, Capitán Burnett, Capitán Castellán, todos los capitanes y todos los oficiales de enforcement se llaman, no le voy a decir cómo se llama en inglés, porque no trabaja en español. All right, this last comment. Buenas noches a todos residentes de Passaic. Señor alcalde, sería una excelente opción que los residentes de Passaic que están registrados con prueba de dirección obtengan un sticker. Roger, sí. Yo he luchado y batallado por esta iniciativa y siempre le digo al pueblo, eso es lo que yo quiero. Salgan a votar. Salgan unidos en números altos para yo poder votar. Es una guerra para yo recibir la aprobación para hacerlo. No lo puedo hacer ejecutivamente, pero nadie va a una guerra sin un ejército. Y si ustedes se siguen quedando en la casa, cuando yo voy a mis colegas y digo, apruébenme esta ley de permisos de parqueo, que hay miles y miles que lo quieren, y ellos dicen, ¿pero a dónde están esos miles? Salgan. Su voz está en su voto. Salgan. Le estoy pidiendo, por favor, no solamente por mí, en todas las elecciones, salgan para que demostramos que somos fuertes, que lo que queremos permisos, salimos a votar. Somos 30,000 personas registradas a votar. Salgan a votar para que ellos vean los números y digan, ok, este pueblo cuando quiere algo lo tenemos que hacer. Pero si no salen, nada más me dejan a mí gritando, peleando. Mira, yo he logrado mucho por la gracia de Dios, por su favor. Yo le doy gloria a Dios por lo que pudimos lograr en esta ciudad, por sus oraciones y por su respaldo y su apoyo. Muchos han respaldado. Pero hay muchos que se quedan en su casa y después quieren quejarse. Salgan, apoyen, respalden. Mira, si tú eres parte de mi equipo, si tú eres parte de Team Lora, salgan conmigo y ayúdenme. Guys, I'll say it again. You want big things? Nobody goes to war without an army. And some of these initiatives are war. You've seen what I've been able to accomplish by God's grace. I give glory to God. I thank him for his favor and for your support. Some of you have come out to support. But you want me to keep fighting for big things? You're on my team. You're on Team Lora? Come out and vote. Vote with me and vote for the teams that I support so I can get bigger things done. But come out in big numbers so when I look and I point to you and say, look, you see that army that came out, that huge group, this is what they want. Then I'm stronger to fight for stuff. If not, it's gradual. Listen, again, we've done a lot together. I thank God for what he's allowed us to do up to this point. But there's so much more. So much has been done. So much more that can come if you come out. All right. With that said, thank you. Gracias. Dios le bendiga. And until next time, be safe and God bless. All right. Renee, we've done this before. You got to check on those batteries, man. That's tough.
I put it in a fresh one before we started. Usually they hold for like 2 to 3 hours, but I guess it didn't get a full charge.
Yeah? All right. Well, at least it reconnected. It's just really hard.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
live doesn't die. It's just it's the connection.